Back in the 70s, the Maverick used to be a two-door compact car. Now, in the 2020s, it's a compact pickup truck, and this one has been highly anticipated. So, now that I have my hands on the 2022 Ford Maverick, does it live up to the hype? Let's go for a drive and find out. The Ford Maverick is available with two engines. You can get a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that produces around 250 horsepower, or you can get a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated hybrid, which is what I have here. This hybrid engine produces 191 net horsepower, and Ford won't say how much net torque it produces. They will say, however, that the engine itself produces 155 pound-feet of torque, and the electric motor by itself produces 173 pound-feet of torque. But regardless of what the net torque is, from behind the steering wheel, this Ford Maverick actually feels pretty peppy with this hybrid powertrain. It doesn't feel like as though it's huffing and puffing to go up a hill or to merge onto a highway. Yes, you will hear the engine straining just a little bit every time that you really put your foot down, but like I said, it'll get up to 100 kilometers an hour, 120 kilometers an hour with relative ease. However, you might want to consider the 2-liter EcoBoost if you find yourself towing a lot with the Ford Maverick. With the hybrid powertrain and actually the 2-liter EcoBoost, they both have the same payload rating of 1,500 pounds. However, when it comes to towing, this hybrid can only tow 2,000 pounds. Whereas the 2-liter EcoBoost can double that to 4,000 pounds with the tow package. But the main reason why you may consider the hybrid over the 2-liter EcoBoost is, of course, fuel economy. Officially, it is rated for 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 7.1 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. During my time with the truck, I actually managed to get better than advertised fuel economy. I averaged just 5.3 liters per 100 kilometers with mostly city driving, but it did involve about 100 kilometers of highway driving. The Maverick doesn't switch to EV mode very often at speeds above 80-ish kilometers an hour, or about 50-ish miles an hour, unless you're coasting. At speeds below that, it will do it quite often. With a nearly fully charged battery, it can also accelerate on electricity alone up to 70 kilometers an hour, or about 45 miles an hour. As well, it'll do it at a faster pace than the Toyota Highlander hybrid that I drove a little while ago. The hybrid battery gets partially recharged by the engine and also partially by regenerative braking. There is no major discernible difference between regen braking and using the normal friction brakes, which is a good thing. You also have two types of regen braking. The normal, where you just lift off the throttle pedal and it feels like you're coasting in a regular gasoline vehicle, or you can have a strong regen braking mode if you push the little L button on the gear selector. It's not quite one pedal driving, but it slows down the Maverick by a lot. The only thing that I want to mention about these brakes is that if you have a heavier foot, every time that you put your foot on the brakes even just a little bit, for some it may feel like as though your face is about to come off or that you had a crash, because these brakes are very heavily assisted. The brake pedal is nice and firm and this Ford Maverick stops very quickly, but like I said, for those that have a heavier foot, it can be a little bit tricky arriving at a smooth stop. To my surprise, the Ford Maverick steering is heavier than I was expecting it to be. It's nicely weighted when driving at high speeds, as this will keep the little truck straight and true, but when it comes to parking, it doesn't become as light as I was expecting it to be. Beyond that, the Maverick feels stable through corners with minimal body roll. The hybrid version of the Maverick is not available with all-wheel drive, only the 2-liter turbo is. However, unless you live in a part of the world that gets proper snowstorms with over half a foot of snow every few days, all-wheel drive isn't really that necessary. A good set of snow tires and smooth throttle inputs is more than enough to get you through a light dusting of the white stuff. The 2022 Ford Maverick Hybrid has a firmer ride than its competitors like the Hyundai Santa Cruz. The front-wheel drive variants of the Maverick have torsion beam rear suspension, which is designed to be cost-effective, but not so good when it comes to performance or comfort. The all-wheel drive variants of the Ford Maverick have multi-link rear suspension, which not only improves performance, but also a little bit of the ride comfort. While cruising on a highway, the engine is quiet, wind noise is minimal, and road noise from the tires is acceptable. When accelerating from a stop in a city, the engine is more noticeable, but it's not overly intrusive into the cab. As well, the transition from EV driving to using the gasoline engine is smooth. Now taking a look at the interior of the Ford Maverick, and in the front seats you have about as much space as a crossover SUV. And that's because this is based on a crossover SUV, the Ford Escape specifically. So for my 6'4" height, I have plenty of leg space. I can even move the seat further back if I want more leg space. Headroom is the same story. Hair isn't brushing up against the headliner even with the sunroof. Also, the steering wheel has plenty of tilt and telescopic adjustments, so absolutely no complaints there. As for the interior design and layout, it's exactly what you would expect from Ford. It's all very straightforward to use. So all the functions have physical buttons or rotary knobs, and everything is where you expect it to be. There's also quite a lot of little nooks and crannies for you to store stuff or probably lose stuff. So there's space right behind the touchscreen, right next to the touchscreen as well for your wallet. On the center console, there's tons of space for cup holders, cell phones, you name it. There's also a little slot here for your credit cards or parking tickets. The door panels also have a lot of storage, and you can fit water bottles way down in the back there. And of course it has a glove box as well. My only small complaint about this interior is with the doors, and specifically the door handles, because every time that I reach to close it, I'm always reaching for this gap in the door handle, just by instinct. So it gets a little annoying after a while. But other than that, very straightforward, really simple to use, and I like the whole design of it. So with that, let's go check out the back seats. Now in the back, of course, there isn't really that much space for someone of my height sitting behind my driving position. And I know I am above average in height, so stop complaining in the comments section. But the Ford Maverick actually does have less legroom in the second row compared to the Hyundai Santa Cruz and the Honda Ridgeline. So there is a nice indentation in the back of the front seat, so my legs don't feel completely squished, but yeah, I don't want to be here for very long. Headroom is okay so long as you're leaning back in this indentation, because all this is for the sunroof to have space to open. This bench does lift up, so you do have some storage underneath it, but unfortunately it does not lift up 60/40, so you can't have a bigger item underneath and still have space for a third person. But you do get USB-A and USB-C ports, a 120 volt power outlet. There's a little window that can open to the back to let some fresh air in, I guess. And your cup holders are right here. And yeah, that's about it for the second row of the Ford Maverick. The bed is 4.5 feet in length. It has adjustable cleats along the side railings. There's a little compartment for small items on the right side. There's LED lighting, but only from the left side of the bed, as well as on top of the cab. There's a 12 volt plug, and a 110 volt power outlet can be equipped. The 2022 Ford Maverick Hybrid starts at $26,900 Canadian, with this XLT Hybrid costing $34,975 Canadian. For the base price, you're not getting a whole lot of features though. It's basically a fleet type of vehicle with just an 8-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration, Bluetooth, power windows and mirrors, LED headlights, a backup camera, and that's about it. Move up to this XLT trim with the convenience package, and as equipped, this Ford Maverick has heated seats, heated steering wheel, cruise control, an optional sunroof, automatic climate control, and power driver's seat. In terms of safety, the Maverick Hybrid comes standard with 7 airbags, auto high beam, automatic emergency braking, and a backup camera. Opt for the Ford Copilot 360 package and it'll add on blind spot sensors with rear cross traffic alert and lane departure warning with lane keep. And finally, for the warranty here in Canada, it is 3 years or 60,000 kilometers basic new vehicle, 5-year or 100,000 kilometer powertrain, and the hybrid components are covered by an 8-year or 160,000 kilometer warranty. Below are the conversions for the American warranty. So, the Maverick. I think that Ford hit a home run with it. Not only is it practical and efficient, but it's one of the least expensive cars that you can get right now in 2022. Of course, if you do need more towing capability and you want a nicer interior, then Hyundai Santa Cruz or Honda Ridgelines are the ones to look at. But there definitely is a market for someone that just wants to poodle around town, throw their tools in the back, and not pay a fortune at the gas pumps, or when they purchase it in the first place. Like I said, one of the least expensive new vehicles. So the Ford Maverick Hybrid, one of the best new cars of 2022. And if you want to know more about it, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up here. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck, or most likely, it'll probably be an SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.